Hi there all and welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking Battlefield 6. So I've scoured the internet for all the information I can find about the game from EA, DICE and popular leakers, and I'm going to share it with you today. So the way I thought I'd structure this video would be first talk about information relating to the release date of the game, followed by information relating to the gameplay and the era Battlefield 6 will be set in, and then finally look at platform support. So whether the game will support crossplay functionality, cross-generational functionality, and then concluding remarks about my thoughts and feelings about the development of the game thus far, and worries I actually have about the development of the game thus far. So let's just crack straight into it then with the release date. So there's no official information out there, but EA in one of their recent fiscal earning calls decided they wanted to release Battlefield 6 in the fiscal year of 2022. So that runs between April 2021 and March 2022. Now since then they have narrowed it down to say they want to release it by the end of 2021. EA said that DICE is focused on the future of Battlefield and bringing it to players in 2021. And this does kind of match up with what we're seeing. Battlefield 5 has had its last update. Battlefront 2 is now at the end of its life. And a lot of these developers are thought to have now moved over to the Battlefield 6 project to help with development over there. And this release for the end of 2021 does line up with previous Battlefields. Battlefield 5, for example, was released in November of 2018. Battlefield 1 October. Battlefield 4 October. So Battlefield does have this habit of releasing around that period at the end of the year. A lot of this is due to other big competitors like Call of Duty releasing around there and they want to compete with them. Although there might be a change of strategy. There are also rumours, because Battlefield 5 flopped so much on a November release date, partly due to the fact that COD did so well, Battlefield has been rumoured to be switching up its strategy and maybe releasing the next title in summer or earlier in the fall, just to put it in a different market to COD. So let's move on to settings and gameplay then. Most of this is rumours and conjecture at this point, but the rumours are saying that it's going to be a modern day setting. However, obviously DICE are going to keep this very close to their chest until they start marketing the game, because where the setting of the game is going to be is obviously going to produce a lot of hype and is good for marketing. In terms of future marketing for Battlefield, we're not going to see that for the foreseeable future. Battlefield and EA and DICE tend to market their games only a few months before launch, so we probably won't know too much information in the coming months, at least probably not until 2021, or maybe when the new generation consoles come out we might see some more information about the Battlefield franchise there. In terms of the fundamental gameplay, we can expect the same things from Battlefield, big maps, vehicles, large player counts. So in terms of player counts, this is interesting. So Tom Henderson, if you don't know who Tom Henderson is, he is a popular leaker who in the past has been very accurate in his leaks about Call of Duty. So he said Battlefield are designing their maps with 128 players in mind, but also there are going to be smaller game modes with 32 versus 32 like we've typically seen in previous Battlefields. So this is interesting. We don't know if the primary modes like Conquest are now going to be 128 players, or whether it's going to be more like a ground war situation in COD where the normal modes are still 64 players, but then you can go on like a bigger modes with 128 players. However, I am inclined to think that the staple game modes like Conquest are now moving to a 128 player format. After all, they are designing their maps to be 128 players. I think alongside that you're going to have the smaller game modes like Team Deathmatch and Domination, which either are going to be those 32v32 standard playlists Tom was talking about, or alternatively, they could be kind of the things we're used to, like the 20 players, but I think we're just going to have to wait and see on that one. Interestingly enough, Tom again said that they might be introducing a Battle Royale, like Firestorm. Let's hope it's a little bit better than Firestorm. I mean, Firestorm was well, in my opinion, a complete flop. I mean, it seemed to be a whole mission to just pick up your loot no matter kind of engage in any kind of gunfight in that game. But yeah, they're rumoured to be trying the Battle Royale again after seeing the success of Warzone, obviously. They're also rumoured to be thinking to make it free to play, which obviously is the right decision. I mean, in 2020, like, to play a Battle Royale that isn't free to play, a good one, is exceptionally rare. I mean, you know, you've got so many options out there. You've got Fortnite, you've got Warzone is the big one, you've got Apex Legends, you've got the new Hyperscape coming out, all free to play. So to put your Battle Royale, or any studio to put their Battle Royale behind a paywall, is a little bit thick at this point, in my opinion. But yeah, we might be seeing a Battle Royale alongside Battlefield as well. Some of the official stuff we've had from EA and DICE in terms of the test play footage that you can see on screen now does kind of support Tom's statement that the maps are being designed for a larger player count, you know, 128 players, because as you can see from this, there are a lot of models on here, and the scale of it does look quite big. So I think Tom might be hitting something here, in the sense that we are looking at bigger lobbies, which would make sense on a more powerful console. So moving on to consoles then. Battlefield 6 is obviously going to be targeting the next generation consoles, but Tom has also suggested that they have pulled a small team away, DICE, to develop a version of Battlefield 6 on the current generation consoles, you know, the PS4 and the Xbox One. But apparently it is only a small amount of people working on this version. Now, we don't know what this version on the current consoles will entail, whether it's just a graphical downgrade or whether they're not going to have access to some of the modes in the, you know, full proper version of Battlefield 6, I guess you could say, on the new generation consoles. And this brings into question whether there will be cross-generational gameplay. If it is just a graphical downgrade, I don't see why, you know, PS4 players couldn't play with PS5 players. But if, for example, the downgrade is that, you know, PS4 players can't play on the 128 player game modes because there just simply isn't the bandwidth on the PS4 to support that, then it's logical to draw from that there won't be cross-generational support. You won't be able to play with your buddies on PS5 if you have a PS4, because they'll be in 128 player lobbies, whereas your console just won't have the capacity to deal with that. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Positive from that, they are producing Battlefield 6 on both consoles, so you will at least be able to play it. It's just whether that cross-generational aspect of it will be possible. In terms of crossplay, which obviously is slightly different, whether you can play with Xbox people with a PS4 or vice versa, that's up for debate as well. Like previously, EA games don't really support crossplay functionality. If you look at Battlefront and previous Battlefields, none of their games support crossplay. But this is a new generation of console, you know, bigger and better things, hopefully. And I am hoping that they'll implement crossplay, especially after seeing the success of Warzone and Call of Duty with their crossplay functionality and the amount of people that have been drawn to that game. And as previously mentioned, they are thinking about making that Battle Royale. And if they are drawing inspiration from Call of Duty, one of the things Call of Duty does is crossplay. So we'll see about that. So in terms of my thoughts, feelings and worries for the game, I think my biggest worry is they might have bitten off more than they can chew. Now obviously the pandemic has thrown a whole spanner in the works for a lot of different studios, and most of these studios, or at least a large number of them, have decided to push back the release date of their major titles. Whereas EA at this point have said no, they still want to release and target that end of 2021 period. Now this is a little bit concerning because Ryan MacArthur, a developer, said they're still tackling the challenges from working from home in regards to the BF5 final update, right? So if they're struggling with the challenges from working from home just for the BF5 update, surely they must be still tackling those challenges working from home when they're developing a whole new Battlefield 6 on a whole new generation of consoles and potentially doing a Battle Royale alongside that. It just seems like a bit of a mammoth task to be doing all of that. I mean, fair play to them if they can manage it, but EA does have a little bit of a history of pushing things out too early. If you look at Battlefront 2, when that was released, they had that completely broken economy. And then, you know, if you look at the most recent game, Anthem, that was pushed upon us, and most people that played that game said that at least needed another year of development before it should have been released. So I just hope EA don't do their typical thing and release something that isn't complete. And again, they do this with the Battlefield franchise as well. If you look at Battlefield 5 when that released, that had a load of bugs, and even some great games like Battlefield 4. In the end, it was fantastic, I think, but at the start there were some big problems. So I'd rather them push it back 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it is, to release a completely polished, or at least a more polished title than, for example, Anthem or Battlefront 2 when it was released, because I think that really does do damage to a game if it's released in that kind of state. In terms of kind of the positives and my overall feelings, it's looking promising. It looks like they're targeting the right era. I think it's time for a modern day era. You can do so much more with the modern day than you can in World War I or World War II, in my opinion. I just miss heli combat. I'm not even fantastic in helis, but there's more variety to the gameplay in modern combat. So looks like they're on the right direction there. I am optimistic that they're going to be able to do this, but as I said, my only concern is they might have been a little bit ambitious with the 2021 release date, considering how much they have to do. But we'll see. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's stay optimistic, and yeah, I think that's everything from me, guys. Peace out.